The only way we can lose, in my opinion, I really mean this, Pennsylvania, is if cheating goes on.
In that final result versus the final polls that were conducted, as an aggregate, it was a considerable differential. It will be larger this time.
It will be larger this time.
Yeah, about that.
How did you cope?
Alright everyone, as you may have seen, there's both very good news and very bad news. The very good news is that Donald Trump has fairly clearly won re-election.
Denial can be an ugly thing.
I think the Democrats are probably in full-on mental breakdown over the fact that they are losing support from the black community.
Yeah, about that.
We're seeing a transformation, particularly in the South, in states like Georgia that are usually solid red states that normally we would not be talking about Georgia as a state that is a significant in play in a presidential election. But we're in play because organizers on the ground, many of them associated with the work of Black Lives Matter and other social justice movements, have actually been organizing over the last decade. And now what you see is a result in Georgia.
Why did all those blacks in Georgia have the perception that people voting for Trump will deny atrocities that happen to black folk? Hey, Tim Pool, can you help us out with that?
Based on the video I've seen, based on the statements I've read, I am inclined to believe that while this is a horrifying tragedy, I do not believe it is a story of two white men who chased and ran down a man based on his race or anything like that. There's actually good reason, according to the New York Times, to suggest these men actually did have a reason
To believe that Ahmaud Arbery had committed a crime.
Yeah, about that.
The lead investigator in the case revealing one of the suspects overheard the man who shot Arbery call him the N-word after the shooting. The lead investigator for GBI's investigation, Richard Dial, also revealed this isn't the first time Travis McMichael has used the word, saying investigators found multiple instances of Travis McMichael using the word on social media and in messages.
But one particular one that comes to mind is he made the statement that he loved his job because he was out on a boat and there weren't any N-words anywhere.
Today, we gotta talk about the family of Breonna Taylor receiving a $12 million settlement in their wrongful death lawsuit against the city of Louisville, Kentucky. She was shot and killed by the police during a raid on her house. Now, the media are phrasing it in a way that did not actually happen.
Well, you see, Anthony Brian Logan, there's just one teensy-weensy little problem with your theory. You see, the grand jury, you know, those people who were supposed to be deciding criminal charges like murder for the cops, they had some pretty interesting things to say.
Grand juror number 1 and number 2 say what prompted them to ultimately speak out was that press conference held by Kentucky Attorney General Daniel Cameron, which they insist falsely represented their position on potential indictments for the officers involved in Breonna Taylor's death.
While there are 6 possible homicide charges under Kentucky law, these charges are not applicable to the facts before us because our investigation showed, and the grand jury agreed, that Mattingly and Cosgrove were justified in the return of deadly fire.
When he stated that there were 6 possible murder charges and that the grand jury had agreed that those didn't apply, the first time I heard the word 6 possible murder charges was in that news conference.
It wasn't presented to you in the grand jury deliberations?
No. And personally, when I do something, I take responsibility for it. We had not done that.
I really felt that this was all Cameron. This was up to him. We didn't get a choice in that at all.
Overnight, the outrage over an election, sparking protests from coast to coast and cities in between.
The only way we can lose, in my opinion, I really mean this, Pennsylvania, is if cheating goes on.
In that final result versus the final polls that were conducted, as an aggregate, it was a considerable differential. It will be larger this time.
It will be larger this time.
Yeah, about that.
How did you cope?
Alright everyone, as you may have seen, there's both very good news and very bad news. The very good news is that Donald Trump has fairly clearly won re-election.
Denial can be an ugly thing.
I think the Democrats are probably in full-on mental breakdown over the fact that they are losing support from the black community.
Yeah, about that.
We're seeing a transformation, particularly in the South, in states like Georgia that are usually solid red states that normally we would not be talking about Georgia as a state that is a significant in play in a presidential election. But we're in play because organizers on the ground, many of them associated with the work of Black Lives Matter and other social justice movements, have actually been organizing over the last decade. And now what you see is a result in Georgia.
Why did all those blacks in Georgia have the perception that people voting for Trump will deny atrocities that happen to black folk? Hey, Tim Pool, can you help us out with that?
Based on the video I've seen, based on the statements I've read, I am inclined to believe that while this is a horrifying tragedy, I do not believe it is a story of two white men who chased and ran down a man based on his race or anything like that. There's actually good reason, according to the New York Times, to suggest these men actually did have a reason
To believe that Ahmaud Arbery had committed a crime.
Yeah, about that.
The lead investigator in the case revealing one of the suspects overheard the man who shot Arbery call him the N-word after the shooting. The lead investigator for GBI's investigation, Richard Dial, also revealed this isn't the first time Travis McMichael has used the word, saying investigators found multiple instances of Travis McMichael using the word on social media and in messages.
But one particular one that comes to mind is he made the statement that he loved his job because he was out on a boat and there weren't any N-words anywhere.
Today, we're going to talk about the family of Breonna Taylor receiving a $12 million settlement in their wrongful death lawsuit against the city of Louisville, Kentucky. She was shot and killed by the police during a raid on her house. Now, the media are phrasing it in a way that did not actually happen.
Well, you see, Anthony Brian Logan, there's just one teensy-weensy little problem with your theory. You see, the grand jury, you know, those people who were supposed to be deciding criminal charges like murder for the cops, they had some pretty interesting things to say.
Grand juror number 1 and number 2 say what prompted them to ultimately speak out was that press conference held by Kentucky Attorney General Daniel Cameron, which they insist falsely represented their position on potential indictments for the officers involved in Breonna Taylor's death.
While there are 6 possible homicide charges under Kentucky law, these charges are not applicable to the facts before us because our investigation showed, and the grand jury agreed, that Mattingly and Cosgrove were justified in the return of deadly fire.
When he stated that there were 6 possible murder charges and that the grand jury had agreed that those didn't apply, the first time I heard the word 6 possible murder charges was in that news conference.
It wasn't presented to you in the grand jury deliberations?
No. And personally, when I do something, I take responsibility for it. We had not done that.
I really felt that this was all Cameron. This was up to him. We didn't get a choice in that at all.
Overnight, the outrage over an election, sparking protests from coast to coast and cities in between.
The only way we can lose, in my opinion, I really mean this, Pennsylvania, is if cheating goes on.
In that final result versus the final polls that were conducted, as an aggregate, it was a considerable differential. It will be larger this time.
It will be larger this time.
Yeah, about that.
How did you cope?
Alright everyone, as you may have seen, there's both very good news and very bad news. The very good news is that Donald Trump has fairly clearly won re-election.
Denial can be an ugly thing.
I think the Democrats are probably in full-on mental breakdown over the fact that they are losing support from the black community.
Yeah, about that.
We're seeing a transformation, particularly in the South, and states like Georgia that are usually solid red states that normally we would not be talking about Georgia as a state that is a significant in play in a presidential election. But we're in play because organizers on the ground, many of them associated with the work of Black Lives Matter and other social justice movements, have actually been organizing over the last decade. And now what you see is a result in Georgia.
Why did all those blacks in Georgia have the perception that people voting for Trump will deny atrocities that happen to black folk? Hey, Tim Pool, can you help us out with that?
Based on the video I've seen, based on the statements I've read, I am inclined to believe that while this is a horrifying tragedy, I do not believe it is a story of two white men who chased and ran down a man based on his race or anything like that. There's actually good reason, according to the New York Times, to suggest these men actually did have a reason
To believe that Ahmaud Arbery had committed a crime.
Yeah, about that.
The lead investigator in the case revealing one of the suspects overheard the man who shot Arbery call him the N-word after the shooting. The lead investigator for GBI's investigation, Richard Dial, also revealed this isn't the first time Travis McMichael has used the word, saying investigators found multiple instances of Travis McMichael using the word on social media and in messages.
But one particular one that comes to mind is he made the statement that he loved his job because he was out on a boat and there weren't any N-words anywhere.
Today, we gotta talk about the family of Breonna Taylor receiving a $12 million settlement in their wrongful death lawsuit against the city of Louisville, Kentucky. She was shot and killed by the police during a raid on her house. Now, the media are phrasing it in a way that did not actually happen.
Well, you see, Anthony Bryan Logan, there's just one teensy-weensy little problem with your theory. You see, the grand jury, you know, those people who were supposed to be deciding criminal charges like murder for the cops, they had some pretty interesting things to say.
Grand juror number 1 and number 2 say what prompted them to ultimately speak out was that press conference held by Kentucky Attorney General Daniel Cameron, which they insist falsely represented their position on potential indictments for the officers involved in Breonna Taylor's death.
While there are 6 possible homicide charges under Kentucky law, these charges are not applicable to the facts before us because our investigation showed, and the grand jury agreed, that Mattingly and Cosgrove were justified in the return of deadly fire.
When he stated that there were 6 possible murder charges and that the grand jury had agreed that those didn't apply, the first time I heard the word 6 possible murder charges was in that news conference.
It wasn't presented to you in the grand jury deliberations?
No. And personally, when I do something, I take responsibility for it. We had not done that.
I really felt that. This was all Cameron. This was up to him. We didn't get a choice in that at all.
Overnight, the outrage over an election, sparking protests from coast to coast and cities in between.
The only way we can lose, in my opinion, I really mean this, Pennsylvania, is if cheating goes on.
In that final result versus the final polls that were conducted, as an aggregate, it was a considerable differential. It will be larger this time.
It will be larger this time.
Yeah, about that.
How did you?
All right, guys. Welcome to the Pitchfork Podcast. This is the Pitchfork Podcast for January 16th, 2021. All right. We are a week out from the MAGA D-Day of Fail. All right. So, with that being said, guys, like the show, hit like button, hit share button. If you want to follow me on social media, all links will be down in the description. You should also consider becoming a Patreon on Patreon. I don't have a single patron. You know it. You want to know why that is? Because I don't lie to people. I refuse to lie to you. I refuse to give you what you just want to hear. I want to give you the actual news, the actual truth, the actual perspectives. So with that being said, guys, I want you all to know that I will be running this show every day. I will try to, at least. And the main reason I'll be doing that, let me go ahead and starting. Come join in. I'm sending out the posts on social media to make sure everyone joins in. So with that being said, guys, hit like button, hit share button, let people know that I run the show. With that being said, you want to follow me on Twitch, Fuse Painter 86. Follow me on YouTube, Devil's Advocate. Follow me on Twitter, Devil's Advocate. You want to follow me on Trovo, Mr. Devil's Advocate. Also, Mr. Devil's Advocate on D Live. I'm also on Facebook streaming this as well. I'm streaming on 6 different platforms all at once. With that being said, guys, we're gonna get straight into the news, but. However, as always, if you want to participate in the show, the number to call in is 253-203-6784. Get a number to call in is 253-203-6784. Let me go ahead and open up the Skype lines right now. Make sure you guys can have a place to call in. If you want to join in on the show, you don't have a phone, that's fine. I left a link into my Discord server. You can join the voice chat. It'll be just like a phone call. I understand during this period, people can't afford a whole lot of things, so therefore I try to be accommodating for those people. In today's show, we're going to be discussing virus news, also discussing the Capitol siege. We'll be discussing several things. We'll be getting down into the nitty-gritty, getting down. So we also know there's a comment on YouTube, Augustinian philosopher. I agree with you. I like ancient wisdom. Would you like it if I made such content? Also, Augustinian philosopher, I know a guy that you might be interested in before we get into the show. I'm going to look up somebody real quick, and I'm going to drop him in the chat. Pan Flute, YouTube. There's a guy named Pan Flute. He has a history channel that he basically runs, and he basically runs that channel, and he tries to do a lot of ancient history style videos. I'm interested in ancient history. If you look at some of the medallions I wear, some of the ancient stuff I wear, I'm obviously interested in that kind of stuff. But Pan Flute, he is definitely more tuned to that. He makes more of that content. So I'm gonna drop his link down below. And I want you to go ahead and subscribe to him so that you can watch his content. But that being said, we're going to go ahead and get into the news, guys. We're going to watch a few videos. Also, if you could leave a comment in the stream, and also share the stream out. Share the stream out to your QAnon friends, your Blue Lives Matter friends. Share it out to friends who are hardcore right, your alt-right friends. I want to debate those people. I want to have conversations with those people. Also, you can call in. Just let me know how your day is going. I want to know how you are surviving in the COVID economy. I want to know how you're struggling out there, because many of these politicians don't seem to understand why there's so much anger. Well, one of the reasons why there's so much anger is because those people don't appear to understand that we don't have the same privileges that they have. So with that being said, let's get into the news. All right. Let's get into the live scene. All right. So right now we are going to go over to we're searching out the New York Times. I found a lot of articles and a lot of videos that I want you guys to look into. But here we go. So, far-right activist Baked Alaska is among the latest Capitol rioters to be arrested. This is released on January 16th, today, 2 hours ago. And We're going to go ahead and leave a link down in the chat so you guys can have a link to this as we're going over this. We're going to get into some videos in a second, but this is the first article we're going to be covering for the day. All right, so this is about Baked Alaska on the New York Times. This is not the first time that I've dealt with Baked Alaska with New York Times. Back, I would say almost 2 years ago, Crop and T, David Sherratt, aka Spinosaurus Ken, also Alternative Facts, we were in a dispute with the alt-right. And one of the people that we were looking at was Baked Alaska. And one of the reasons why, because we thought that he had the potential for violence, the potential for it, in terms of his far-right views. And so this is one of the reasons why he popped up. And around that time, there was a conference in Phoenix, a free speech conference ran by a person named Base Mama. And the entire so-called skeptic community and the anti-SJW community turned on this woman for no reason, because she disinvited Baked Alaska to that free speech conference on issues of violence. She believed that he would bring violence if he were to show up there. And so when it was all said and done, it turns out that she was absolutely right. It turns out that the entire so-called the entirety of the so-called anti-SJW community owes her an apology, because Jeremy Hambley, aka the Quartering, and several other people backed out when she disinvited Baked Alaska. Well, it turns out that she was absolutely correct. Turns out. Strange how that works. Anthony Joseph Guinée, a far-right media personality nicknamed Baked Alaska, who is known for live streaming himself participating in illegal activity, was arrested by the FBI on Friday and accused of illegally storming the Capitol during the attack on the building by President Trump supporters last week. Mr. Guinée, who has been banned from Twitter and YouTube for his content, live streamed himself in the mob on DLive, a streaming service becoming more popular after a mass exodus of right-wing figures from more mainstream platforms. He posted a video that shows supporters of Mr. Trump taking selfies with officers in the Capitol who calmly asked them to leave the premises. The video showed the Trump supporters talking among themselves, laughing and telling the officers and each other, "This is only the beginning." So this is a part of a video that Baked Alaska took. Baked Alaska is a far-right YouTube personality who was banned from a free speech conference a little over 2 years ago by a woman named Base Mama. She's a YouTube personality in the anti-SJW community, including the Quartering and several others. Tim Pool, a lot of people turned on her and basically crucified her, when the truth is she was just pointing out that the man was violent. And given his actions now, I think that the entire anti-SJW community owes her an apology for destroying her life. Mr. Guinée was arrested in Houston on Friday, according to the Justice Department's website, and charged with 2 federal crimes. In a court filing, Nicole Miller, an FBI agent, said Mr. Guinée had recorded a 27-minute live video in which he appeared to chant, "Patriots are in control," and said, "We are in the Capitol building. 1776 will commence again." Over 70 arrests have been made in relation to the riots, and at least 170 cases have been opened. Many of the mob participants have been easily identified through their social media posts. So this man live streamed himself. Baked Alaska. He live streamed himself committing a crime. Once again, these people are not exactly the intellectual heavyweights that many on the right have faked themselves out to be. They are not the intellectual heavyweights that they push themselves off to be, as you can clearly see for yourself here. This man recorded a video of him breaking into the Capitol, meaning that they wouldn't have to look very hard. And since he's in a mob that doesn't like masks, it made identifying them that much easier. So let's get down into it. Once again, this whole article is about Baked Alaska. But let's get into another article here. Let's get into a video.
Trump does appear to still be in contact with those allies. Who helped amplify
the My Pillow guy.
election fraud falsehoods that fueled the assault on Congress. Today, he spent some time on his last Friday in the White House
The
with
My Pillow
Mike
guy.
Lindell, the guy on the My Pillow commercials. He was seen leaving the West Wing. Jabin Botsford, photographer for the Washington Post, caught a shot of Lindell's notes, which read in part, quote, martial law if necessary, at first hint of any ... Then at another point it says, move Kash Patel to CIA acting.
Wait a minute. So they're literally discussing conspiracies. I mean, I paused it here because I want you to see this, right? Enact martial law. Move this guy to CIA. Move this guy to the acting director of the CIA. Do you see this? Do you see this Rainbow Six Siege level nonsense? I mean, this freaking a Metal Gear Solid bullshit. This is the rights cracking, right? Because I mean, they always mention the freaking cracking, because that was made popular by your girl freaking Sidney Powell. So I posted a link to that video in the chat. But as you can see, they are literally planning to take over the goddamn government. They are literally planning that.
Martial law if necessary, at first hint of any ... Then at another point it says, move Kash Patel to CIA acting. Kash Patel is currently the Department of Defense Chief of Staff and a Trump loyalist. Tonight, Mike Lindell, the pillow pitchman and conspiracy theorist, tells the Daily Beast he was informing Trump about a new election fraud theory that China and other countries helped steal the 2020 election for Joe Biden. He says White House attorneys promised to look into it and get right back to him. But you're right, it's such a...
So, is this the Kraken? I mean, you got the My Pillow guy. Now I'm not saying that based on your profession that is more or less if I should take you seriously or not. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is, if I wanted to look into election fraud, I'm not going to the guy who is known for making goddamn pillows. If my claims of election fraud were actually accurate, I'm not going to the guy who makes pillows. Okay? If my claims, do you think, I want you to let me know in the chat. I'm type it out in the chat. Do you think the election fraud claims are legit if it's the My Pillow guy who appears to be showing up to meetings at the White House spewing those conspiracies? I'm asking in the chat. Leave me an answer in the chat. Let me know what you think. Do you think the election fraud claims are legit if it's the My Pillow guy who appears to be showing up to meetings at the White House spewing those basically spewing those conspiracies? Do you think those claims are legit if it's this guy that is pushing them? Let's get into another article here. This comes from Newsmax. The article's gonna load for me. Open up way too many browsers. I got like a million tabs open combined. Anyways, guys, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hitting the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the notification bell. All right. So, Health Secretary Azar resigned, citing Capitol attack will stay till January 20th. All right, this is published on January 16th. No, January 15th, which is yesterday and Friday. I'll leave a link down in the chat so you can follow along or have it for later if you want to. What's going on, Toby? All right, how you doing, Toby? Toby's over here in the YouTube chat. Say hello to him. Health and Human Services Secretary Alex Azar is condemning the assault on the U.S. Capitol in his formal letter of resignation. On Twitter, Azar said the resignation letter was standard. I handed in my letter this week along with every other political appointee effective January 20th at noon. This is when President-elect Joe Biden is sworn in. Azar wrote in his letter to President Donald Trump dated January 12th, I should say. The attacks on the Capitol were an assault on our democracy and on the tradition of peaceful transitions of power that the United States of America first brought to the world. He added, I implore you to continue to condemn unequivocally any form of violence, to demand that no one attempt to disrupt the inaugural activities in Washington or elsewhere, and to continue to support unreservedly the peaceful and orderly transition of power on January 20th. Let's go down here. Reuters said that in a letter posted to Twitter by a PBS NewsHour reporter, Azar cited change in the administration and confirmed his January 20th exit, calling the attack on the Capitol on January 6th an assault on our democracy. CNBC said he wrote that the actions and rhetoric following the election, especially during the past week, threatened to tarnish the legacies of this administration. The attacks on the Capitol were an assault on our democracy and on the tradition of peaceful transitions of power. So, Secretary Azar has resigned. All right, that article was posted to Newsmax on January 15th, which is yesterday on Friday. Let's go into another Newsmax article before we get into another video. This is about the NRA. They have filed for bankruptcy in New York, and they're heading to Texas. A lot of people have been dumping a lot of left-leaning cities and going to Texas. All right, let's go ahead and respond. There's a comment on YouTube. I'll try to do a little bit better about responding to comments. That's one of the criticisms that I've gotten. Fine, Toby. How about yourself? Toby on YouTube asked me how am I doing, and I said I'm doing fine, Toby. How about yourself? All right, so we're gonna get into that article. I try to respond to fans. All right, so this is an article about the NRA, and basically the AG in New York has been going after the NRA, and several AGs across the country, especially in left-leaning cities, have been going after them, basically to dissolve them or to backroom door, like get rid of them. This is published on 15, which was on yesterday. The NRA announced Friday it has filed for bankruptcy and will seek to incorporate the nation's most politically influential gun rights group in Texas instead of New York. The announcement made on the NRA's website comes months after the New York Attorney General sued the organization over claims that top executives illegally diverted tens of millions of dollars for lavish personal trips, no-show contracts for associates, and other questionable expenditures. The coronavirus pandemic has also upended the NRA, which last year laid off dozens of employees, canceled its national convention, and scuttled fundraising. Still, the NRA claimed in announcing the move that the organization was in its strongest financial condition in years. The NRA has said that it filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy in Dallas federal court. The move will enable long-term sustainable growth and ensure the NRA's continued success as the nation's leading advocate for constitutional freedom, free from the toxic political environment of New York, the NRA said in a statement. The plan can be summed up quite simply. We are dumping New York, and we are pursuing plans to reincorporate the NRA in Texas, wrote NRA CEO and Executive Vice President Wayne LaPierre. And I want to give you a link to that letter so that you can see it for yourself. All right, there's a link to that letter right there from Wayne LaPierre, the leader of the NRA. All right. He stressed in his note to members that no major changes are expected to the NRA's operations or workforce. The changes have been made because you laid off a lot of people last year there, Wayne. I don't know what you're talking about there, but you laid off a lot of people, my friend. But let's move on. The gun rights group boasts about 5 million members. Though headquartered in Virginia, the NRA the NRA was chartered as a nonprofit in New York in 1871 and is incorporated in the state. Last year, New York Attorney General Letitia James said that her state was seeking to dissolve the NRA altogether, a suit contending that its leadership has shifted around some $64 million for personal use. The NRA's influence has been so powerful that the organization went unchecked for decades while top executives funneled millions into their own pockets, James said in August, as recounted by CNBC in its report on the voluntary bankruptcy filing. The NRA is fraught with fraud and abuse, which is why today we seek to dissolve the NRA, because no organization is above the law. In addition to dissolving the gun group, James wants the court to order past and current execs to pay restitution, the Business News Network noted. All right, that's by the NRA, man. They are in some serious hot doo-doo right now. Because, they are the state of New York is going after them pretty hardcore. Pretty hardcore. I mean, it's like around the country, man. All right, so this is another video here. Let's pause this first. All right, so new questions are whether the Capitol mob had help from the inside. All right, this is going to be a very, very important one because, again, people are asking this question because many Republicans and even a lot of Democrats have said the exact same thing. Because a lot of stuff that happened, it just looked very, very suspicious. You know, like it just seemed like they had help from like the inside. You know, it just seemed like.
And tonight there are new
very
questions about whether the Capitol mob had help on the inside. CS Nancy Cordes joins us from Capitol Hill. So Nancy, we know there's been a lot of focus on members of Congress who may have helped the mob, but there was a new development today that has significantly advanced this. Tell us what happened.
A couple of them, Nora. Capitol Police told us that they are investigating this, and House Speaker Nancy Pelosi said that there will be consequences for any member of Congress who provided tours or reconnaissance for any of these rioters the day before the uprising. Take a listen.
If in fact it is found that members of Congress were accomplices to this insurrection.
Here, even though you should almost never trust what Nancy Pelosi is saying, I will say this, right? I will say this, that we know that a West Virginia lawmaker was caught there. We know that multiple lawmakers were caught there. We know that multiple lawmakers, if there were multiple lawmakers caught at the actual Capitol itself, and one of them actually resigned in West Virginia, the question becomes is how many of them, if you had some with the nerve to actually show up there, how many of them were supporting from the background? How many of them were doing exactly what is being suggested here, in that they provided reconnaissance? Because I'm going to tell you, there's actually one story, and I really, really hope that the Digital Liberation Front shows up here to give me a link to that story, because there's actually a door on the inside of the Capitol that could only be opened from the inside. Now, I'm going to invite the Digital Liberation Front here because I want them to hear that part, and once they hear that part, I think they're going to give me a link to that, because I think I have a link to it, and in fact, I think I have one here. I think I have one here. If I have it, I'm going to post it on YouTube, and then I'm going to open it. I think, yeah, I think I have it here. I have it right here. Yep, it's from Yahoo Entertainment. I'm going to post it on my YouTube from my phone, and then we're gonna open it, and we're gonna look at that particular article. So let me go ahead and post it on YouTube from my phone, and we're gonna go ahead and watch. You're gonna go ahead and read that article. All right, there we go. So we're gonna go ahead and continue this video.
If they aided and abetted the crime, then there have to be actions taken beyond the Congress, and in terms of prosecution.
Several lawmakers or their aides have told us that they saw large groups in House office buildings in violation of House rules the day before the riots were on.
And Nancy, I understand that you have some new reporting on the timing of a Senate trial for President Trump?
That's right. We've learned that one option under consideration right now would be to wait a couple of days after the inauguration of President-elect Biden so that the Senate can...
All right. So that was a video about potentially there being some collusion from the inside there. I'm gonna pause that there. All right, so we're going to go ahead and play another video here before we get to that one article that I posted in the chat there.
Every remaining cabinet secretary will turn in a resignation letter. What stands out about what's...
This is again about Alex Azar. It's just the kind of a video version of the article that we actually went over. So let's go over to this one here and see what we can see the different takes, because we read an article from Newsmax. This is coming from today, so it's a completely different perspective. So I want you to see the differing perspectives and why you should always read from a left source, a right source, a somewhat center source, and then kind of make up your own mind. Watch this.
Secretary Azar did is that he submitted his days before he's leaving, and with a very pointed message about the insurrection, President Trump's rhetoric and role. The president has not commented as he faces an impeachment trial and moving day. The final weekend of the Trump era, the president remains out of sight, with signs of an imminent move evident around the complex. Press Secretary Kayleigh McEnany will not return. She was spotted packing her office with family Friday. Health and Human Services Secretary Alex Azar submitted his letter days ahead of his resignation next week with a notable paragraph, critical that the actions and rhetoric after the election threaten to tarnish historic legacies, and Azar implores the president to demand that no one disrupt the inaugural activities. One West Wing visitor drew attention, Trump loyalist and TV pitchman Mike Lindell. A closer look shows Lindell's papers, words like martial law and CIA. Lindell has supported the president's false claims of voter fraud. On Capitol Hill, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi keeping a grip on strategy for when she will send the new article of impeachment to the Senate.
You'll be the first to know when we announce that we're going over there.
The timing is crucial because a Senate trial is expected during the early days of the Biden administration.
So as you can see, man, like basically, so when Alex Azar resigned, he tried to give a nice way of resigning while also criticizing Trump and say, hey, I'm resigning, but I'm gonna let you know that some of your rhetoric might have motivated this, and I'm encouraging you to keep calling this out and calling this down. And he submitted his resignation very, very soon. Now, you fully expect for people to resign who were simply appointed, because Joe Biden is obviously not going to keep many of them around, if at all, right? But you don't have to leave and leave a letter like that. And he chose to, which tells me a lot. It tells me quite a bit.
Ally Lindsey Graham says that's too late.
Impeaching a president after they leave office, I think it's unconstitutional. It's never been done before for a reason. It sets up a never-ending retribution.
The vice president-elect, in a radio interview, said the new team can advance its agenda despite the trial by, quote, multitasking.
That's what's going to be required. You have to multitask, which means, as with anyone, we have a lot of priorities and we need to see them through.
President-elect Joe Biden was asked whether he feels safe for Wednesday's inauguration. He responded without breaking stride, yes.
President-elect, do you feel safe about Wednesday? Yes.
And visible this morning across the street from the White House, added security around Blair House, where the Bidens are expected to stay before the inauguration.
And of course, President Trump will not be attending Biden's inauguration, but he has other plans, requesting a send-off ceremony before he leaves Washington in the final hours of his presidency. Peter?
Kelly O'Donnell at the White.
All right. So once again, that is about Alex Azar resigning, but also leaving quite a message in his resignation, which I thought was pretty interesting. So with that being said, let's go ahead and open up that one piece from Yahoo News. Give me a second. All right, I got a link to that. Let me open it up real quick. Anyways, guys, let me know if you like the stream. Hit the like button, hit the share button. Let people know that I run this stream and I run this podcast every day, pretty much. So let's go ahead and open this up. Here we go. Stop the Steal organizer says several GOP congressmen helped plan the rally. All right. This is gonna be again. I'm gonna post this again in the chat. Apparently, one of the organizers for the protest, for one of the groups that showed up there, claimed that GOP lawmakers helped them set this up, and that is, I think that is very interesting, because what you are implying there. I think it's very, very interesting that no one's talking about this part of it. Because again, you see GOP lawmakers bringing up, well, this was like an inside job. Well, you're right, but some people are saying that it's your side who made it an inside job. That's what some people are saying. One lead organizer of last week's Stop the Steal rally that morphed into an attack against the U.S. Capitol claims that GOP Congressman Paul Gosar and Andy Biggs of Arizona and Congressman Mo Brooks of Alabama all participated in planning in the planning of the January 6th catastrophe. As CNN points out, Arizona resident and pro-Trump activist Ali Alexander implicated the three members of the House of Representatives during a December live stream on Periscope, where he told followers the four of them have been planning something big. I'm the guy who came up with the idea of the January 6th, and when I was talking with Congressman Gosar, Congressman Andy, and also with Congressman Andy Biggs and Congressman Mo Brooks. So we're the four guys who came up with the January 6th event, hashtag do not certify, and it was to build the momentum and pressure. And then on the day, they change hearts and minds of Congress peoples who weren't yet decided, and saw everyone outside and said, I can't be on the other side of that mob, Alexander said in a live stream on December 29th. So let me get this straight. You mean tell me this was planned? This was planned? Biden should concede. I want his concession on my desk tomorrow morning. Don't make me come over there. Wow. Wow. Has anyone seen this? Has anyone seen this? This is from Representative Paul. This is actual congressman. He put out this tweet on January 10th now. He said, Biden should concede. I want his concession on my desk tomorrow morning. Don't make me come over there. Hashtag Stop the Steal 21 at Ali. January 10th, 2021 at 4:39 p.m. So this man, the person who helped to organize the protests, the main guy actually, Ali Alexander, he's basically saying that he had congressmen help him plan it out, and that this sounds awfully violent. It sounds awfully violent. And here's the video here.
So I'm going to let you guys know how we're responding because I was the person who came up with the January 6th idea with Congressman Gosar, Congressman Bill Brooks, and then Congressman Andy Biggs. We four schemed up of putting maximum pressure on Congress while they were voting so that who we couldn't lobby, we could change the hearts and the minds of Republicans who were in that body. So I'm going to let you guys know how we're responding because I was the person who came up with the January 6th idea with Congressman Gosar, Congressman Bill Brooks, and then Congressman Andy Biggs. We four schemed up of putting maximum pressure on Congress while they were voting so that who we couldn't lobby, we could change the hearts and the minds of Republicans who were in that body.
So that's the guy who originally organized the January, who's like the main guy who helped to organize the January 6th rally. And congressmen were tweeting out about this. For example, Congressman Paul Gosar tweeted out, Biden should concede. I want his concession on my desk tomorrow morning. Don't make me come over there. Hashtag Stop the Steal 2021 at Ali, the same guy in the video that you just saw there. And don't make me come over there. So they organized this freaking rally because the guy even said it was congressmen who helped them do it. It was GOP Congressman Paul Gosar, Andy Biggs, and Mo Brooks of Alabama who helped them organize this. And when I see Paul Gosar say things like, don't make me come over there, hashtag Stop the Steal 2021, given what happened at January 6th, given how there's some GOP lawmakers who are now currently saying, you know, well, the real argument isn't what President Trump said, it's that the fact that this was actually an inside job. You're right, guys. But it came from your own side, apparently. Because Paul Gosar, he put that out on January 10th. January 10th. Right? 4 days after. 4 days after the event. I want to watch that video again. Because again, this is a man who helped to organize it, and he's claiming that congressmen helped him organize this. And when I see those kind of screenshots, well, it makes me really, really suspicious.
So I'm going to let you guys know how we're responding because I was the person who came up with the January 6th idea with Congressman Gosar, Congressman Bill Brooks, and then Congressman Andy Biggs. We four schemed up of putting maximum pressure on Congress while they were voting so that who we couldn't lobby, we could change the hearts and the minds of Republicans who were in that body.
Interesting. Really interesting. Let me check something. How's it going? Do you think Paul Gosar, Mo Brooks, and others who aided this insurrection should be brought up on charges? I'm asking the chat a question. Do you think Paul Gosar, Mo Brooks, and others who aided this insurrection should be brought up on charges? Do you think there is evidence that these lawmakers assisted in the insurrection? Do you even think that there's evidence that these lawmakers assisted in the insurrection? I mean, I think it's pretty clear at this point. I think there's just no mistaking it. But do you think that anyone who helped, January 6th go down, should they be brought up on charges? Yes or no? Let me know. Let me know how you feel. I want to know what you think. I know what I think. I want to know what you think. All right, so there's another article here by CNN. This is a story that's gonna piss off a lot of people, and I don't give a damn. Trump he's got a real problem, as well as the GOP. The entire GOP has a real problem right now. As Trump leads the stage, Republicans grapple with new conspiracy caucus. The GOP right now is in real trouble because you got to deal with these people, the same people that I deal with every day. You got to deal with them now. These people are the conspiracy theorists, these freaking QAnon freaks. You got to deal with them now. Even Alex Jones got sick of them, and trust me, we're gonna get into that video. We're gonna get into that video. Oh my God, we're gonna get into that video. It is very, very interesting. But Donald Trump may be leaving the White House in a few days, but the umbrella of conspiracy theories he inspired is only just arriving in Washington. The chief theory as QAnon, that the U.S. government is run by a cabal of Satan-worshipping pedophiles only Trump can expose, began nearly 4 years ago as a fringe movement in the dark corners of the internet. Now QAnon has adherents in positions of power within the Republican Party and in the halls of Congress. The January 6th domestic terror attack on the U.S. Capitol was the violent manifestation of that movement and its attendant theories, including that the 2020 general election was stolen. Thousands of its adherents steeped in years of conspiracy theories espoused by Trump, stormed the Capitol ready for violence, seemingly certain they were the ones liberating the country. Many displayed clothing and paraphernalia associated with the movement. One of the more noticeable rioters wearing a horned helmet and carrying a 6-foot spear is known online as the QAnon shaman. There is a violent anarchy to QAnon that is baked into it, said Mike Rothschild, the author of a book examining and debunking some of the most prominent conspiracy theories. How deep is the GOP's infrastructure QAnon has penetrated is open for question. So too is how Trump's departure from the presidency and banishment from most social media and will affect the reach of conspiracy within the Republican Party. This stuff has always been a part of the stew, said Liam Donovan, a Republican strategist in Washington. Trump has just turned up the heat and brought it to the surface. So basically, you guys are stuck with these people. I want to see that Alex Jones video. I'm gonna play that. I can play that on repeat, where Alex Jones just basically flips out on QAnon. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. It was, oh my God. I could just watch that on repeat forever. Alex Jones, QAnon. Oops, I misspelled QAnon. I want to see, where's that video of Alex Jones and QAnon? Let's see.
I'm sick of all these witches and warlocks. They're full of shit. Pumpkin possums. All of it's lying. Because you're lying. That's why. Oh, there's energy and now we're done with Trump. You said he was the Messiah. You said he was invincible. I will not settle for two people after this. I knew what you were day one. I know what you are now. Witches and warlocks. Pumpkin and possums. I'm sick of it. You keep interrupting me. All of it's lies. Because you're lying. That's why. Every goddamn thing out of you people's mouths is to prove. You said it was all over. You told us to stop shoot. Witches and warlocks. You're full of shit. Pumpkin and possums. I'm sick of it. You keep interrupting me. All of it's lies. Because you're lying. That's why. Witches and warlocks are full of shit. Pumpkin and possums. I'm sick of it. You keep interrupting me. All of it's lies. Because you're lying. That's why. Because every goddamn
I'm gonna give you a link to that. Oh God, someone told me I should play that. I could watch that on repeat for the rest of my life. I could watch that on repeat the rest of my life. You know, Alex Jones just flipping out on cue. I'm trying to find the latest video from that.
I'm saying, Q tells us stuff in all of its lies, is what I'm saying.
You keep interrupting me.
Because you're lying! Because you're full of shit! That's why, because every goddamn thing out of you people's mouths doesn't come true. And it's always, oh, there's energy, and oh, now we're done with Trump. You said he was the Messiah. You said he was invincible. You said it was all over. They were all going to Gitmo. Now, oh, he's part of a larger thing of Q. I will not suffer your Q people after this. I knew what you were day one, I know what you are now, and I'm sick of it. I'm sick of all these witches and warlocks and pumpkin possums and everything. Oh, God. Sorry. Bye-bye, Q. I can't talk to you anymore. Jesus Christ. Lord help me.
They broke this man. They broke this man. They broke.
I'm saying, Q tells us stuff in all of its lies, is what I'm saying.
You keep interrupting me.
Because you're lying. Because you're full of shit. That's right. Because every goddamn thing out of you people's mouths. And it's always, oh, there's energy, and oh, now we're done with Trump. You said he was the Messiah. You said he was invincible. You said it was all over. They were all going to Gitmo. Now, oh, he's part of a larger thing of Q. I will not suffer your Q people after this. I knew what you were day one, I know what you are now, and I'm sick of it. I'm sick of all these witches and warlocks and pumpkin possums and everything.
I could watch this on repeat for the rest of my life.
Bye-bye, Q.
I could watch this on repeat for the rest of my life without skipping a beat. I could watch that on repeat. I'm gonna watch that one more time. I could watch that on repeat 100 times without getting tired of that.
I'm saying, Q tells us stuff in all of its lies, is what I'm saying.
You keep interrupting me.
Because you're lying. Because you're full of shit. That's why. Because every goddamn thing out of you people's mouths doesn't come true.
You know what? I feel Alex Jones on this one, because there's some people out there, like, whenever and I've had discussions with people. You know, I've had discussions with people all the time. They're like, you cut me off because you're fucking lying. You're stupid. You're saying something that is not fucking true. Even Alex Jones gets this. Will you say shit that's not fucking true, I'm gonna cut your ass off. I'm gonna restart this, because again, I could watch this on repeat for the rest of my life without pausing it even once.
I'm saying, Q tells us stuff in all of its lies, is what I'm saying.
You keep interrupting me.
Because you're lying. Because you're full of shit.
Thank you, Alex.
That's why. Because every goddamn thing out of you people's mouths doesn't come true. And it's always, oh, there's energy, and oh, now we're done with Trump. You said he was the Messiah. You said he was invincible. You said it was all over. They were all going to Gitmo. Now, oh, he's part of a larger thing of Q. I will not suffer your Q people after this. I knew what you were day one, I know what you are now, and I'm sick of it. I'm sick of all these witches and warlocks and pumpkin possums and everything. Oh, God. Sorry. Bye-bye, Q. I can't talk to you anymore. Jesus Christ. Lord help me.
They broke this man. They broke this man. How do you make Alex Jones call you a conspiracy, bruh? How the fuck you make Alex Jones call you a conspiracy theorist? Think about that for a second. How the fuck do you let Alex Jones say, I can't talk to you anymore, you are too conspiratorial? Oh my God. Let me just watch that one more time. I gotta watch that one more time.
Q tells us stuff in all of its lies, is what I'm saying.
You keep interrupting me.
Because you're lying. Because you're full of shit. That's why, because every goddamn thing out of you people's mouths doesn't come true. And it's always, oh, there's energy, and oh, now we're done with Trump. You said he was the Messiah. You said he was invincible. You said it was all over. They were all going to Gitmo. Now, oh, he's part of a larger thing of Q. I will not suffer your Q people after this. I knew what you were day one. I know what you are now, and I'm sick of it. I'm sick of all these witches and warlocks and pumpkin popsums and everything. Oh, God. Sorry. Bye-bye, Q. I can't talk to you anymore. Jesus Christ. Lord help me. Oh.
They broke this man. They broke this man. They broke this man. They broke Alex Jones, man. They made Alex Jones go, you are too God, think about that for a second, bro. Like, let's not downplay that shit. That is Alex fucking Jones. How do you make Alex fucking Jones the motherfucker who will listen to any conspiracy theory you goddamn name? He sat on Joe Rogan and was talking about DMT and about how God is a giant dragon or some shit, and the universe in the fucking universe is a giant tail of a giant dragon riding on the back of a dragon or some shit. That's the kind of shit that Alex Jones says on the regular. You made that motherfucker say you are way too conspiratorial. I don't think I can just listen to you and just in good conscience. I don't think I can listen to you. God damn. God damn. How do you make Alex fucking Jones tap out on a damn conspiracy? How do you make Alex Jones tap out on a fucking conspiracy? His whole model, his whole business model is conspiracies. Oh my God. You made this man make a negative business decision because you're that much of a fucking conspiracy theorist. God damn. That's sad. That's how you know you got it bad. When Alex Jones says fuck it. That's how you know you got it bad, boy. That's how you know that's how you know you have lost the goddamn plot. All 50 states are looking at some violence at their capitals.
On high alert as they brace for
Pause this real quick. I'm going to go ahead and
armed protests in the coming days. We're looking at this from.
Pause this real quick. Give you guys a link to this story. It's from CNN. It's a YouTube video we're going to watch. God damn, man.
The country. State capitals on high alert as they brace for possible armed protests in the coming days. We're looking at this from all angles and have reporters and correspondents standing by in all the key locations. Let's start with CNN's Matt Rivers in Austin, Texas. Matt, what are the preparations underway there?
Yeah, John, very much in wait-and-see mode right now here in Austin, Texas, with the Department of Public Safety closing the Capitol grounds and the Capitol building just behind me. It'll be closed starting today all the way through the inauguration of Joe Biden, with Texas DPS releasing a statement that said in part that they're aware of protests planned here at the Capitol and, quote, violent extremists who may seek to exploit constitutionally protected events to conduct criminal acts. Now, CNN obtained a memo that was sent to state lawmakers here in Austin and their staffs, laying out what could happen this weekend. In that memo, DPS says they're tracking at least 3 potential events for this weekend. One today, an event starting at noon, according to DPS, and 2 more potential events for tomorrow. We don't yet know how big those events might be, how many people will show up. Things are quiet right now, but DPS is definitely prepared. I want to show you. So they padlocked here the gate to the Capitol, and if you look through the fence there, you can see that there are DPS officers. Now, you can't really see, but there are dozens of officers scattered around these grounds. The grounds are quite big.
Wow.
They're not in full riot here, but they do have face shields
wow.
on. DPS has deployed dozens of extra officers at this point to be prepared for any potential threats that might show up this weekend. John.
I gotta say, Matt Rivers, they're not kidding around. That's some pretty remarkable imagery behind you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, seriously, like I'm gonna tell you, man. I said it once, said it again, man. It's like a damn hot zone, yo. That's how I would set up a damn ECP. Yo. Are you guys seeing this? Do you not know? Listen, the 17th is not that far from now. In fact, the 17th is tomorrow. It's going to be on Sunday. And the threat is going to last until the 20th and even beyond. So, this coming Wednesday is going to be the deciding factor of whether or not what kind of country we are going to be living in. Now, granted, there's going to be violence. I fully expect it. But whether or not these people prevail or not, it's going to dictate what kind of country we are going to be living in. You know, Runefoot, what's going on, Runefoot? Go on, Runefoot. Take a pause to greet fans. All right, as Runefoot over on YouTube. Also, guys, I'm streaming on YouTube, Twitch, Trovo, DLive. Streaming on Facebook, streaming on a lot of platforms all at one time. Hit the like button, hit the share button, let people know that I run this podcast. With that being said, guys, let's go ahead and get into more news. Let's go ahead and unplug and replug in my mouse here. Can't see my mouse. All right. Okay, so let's go ahead and get to this story. All right, let's see here. Y'all look at this story before we.
This morning, Washington on alert. Thousands of armed National Guardsmen are patrolling the Capitol grounds, at times surrounded by a 7-foot fence topped with razor wire. Streets are peppered with military vehicles and security checkpoints.
I feel like I'm in a different country. Like, I wanted to call my mom and tell her, like...
Yeah, I mean, you know, you see this young lady here, and she's had the exact same reaction that many people have been having. Is it's like, it feel like you're in like a different country. And Runefoot on YouTube is saying that he's been debating people who have been supporting the riots, and I said to have them call in. If you know anybody who supports the riots, you know, have them call in, have them talk to me, and I'm giving you the number right there, 253-203-6784. Have them call in, because I want to see how brave they actually are. Let's go ahead and play on this video.
What is going on?
The heightened security ahead of President-elect Biden's inauguration responds to fears of further attacks like the one on January 6th. The FBI says they've received more than 140,000 photos and videos from that day, and prosecutors have now opened at least 275 criminal investigations related to the insurrection. Among them, Jacob Chansley, who charged into the Capitol wearing horns and carrying a spear with an American flag tied around it. Prosecutors say Chansley left a note on the Senate chamber dais, warning, it's only a matter of time. Justice is coming. Chansley's attorney says he was following President Trump's directions and will seek a presidential pardon. Investigators are now trying to figure out if rioters were organized with a command and control structure and whether Republican members led tours day before the attack on the Capitol.
If they aided and abetted the crime, then there have to be actions taken beyond the Congress.
The Washington Post, meanwhile, says Vice President Mike Pence and his family were hiding less than 100 feet from this landing. And if this pro-Trump mob arrived seconds earlier, the attackers would have been in eyesight of the vice president. Today, the threats continue. The FBI warning of plans for armed protests in all 50 states and the District of Columbia. NBC's Dasha Burns is in Michigan's state capital of Lansing.
With its history of threats and armed protests, a fence has gone up around the Capitol building, a visible presence of Michigan State police officers and National Guard deployed, every precaution taken.
Back in the nation's capital, a weekend inauguration rehearsal is postponed due to security concerns. Senate staffers are being told to work from home, and the National Mall, a place rarely without people, is closed to the public until January 21st.
Wow.
The National Park Service says the decision to close the National Mall was made with the United States Secret Service and D.C. police to ensure safety and security. There are 2 designated protest areas for people who have permits. Kristen, Peter.
Gonna be a long week ahead here in.
Wow. 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 That is, as you can see, when you start seeing some of the images, that's when it becomes real to you. Let's go down here. Roomfoot said something very, very interesting. Panic buttons were ripped out. We're going to look that up real quick because I've heard this a lot. Panic buttons ripped out. DC riots. Let's see. Okay, so we're not going to use a Democrat source because, again, people are going to just like doubt it. But we're going to take it from the Hill. And it's very interesting because, again, as soon as I Googled it, I got results. So Roomfoot wasn't feeding me beat. Was it feeding me a bunch of BS? It turns out that there's actually something to this. It's published on the 13th by the Hill. Give you guys a link to this in the chat here. Some Democrat politicians said that their panic buttons were ripped out. Presley's chief of staff said her office's panic buttons had been torn out before Capitol riot. That is really, really interesting. That is really interesting. Because if
Fundrise, the same kind of real estate investments that have powered the world's strongest portfolios for decades are now available.
There we go. I'm just pause this thing because they make it so that you can't just pause the audio or anything else. So you got to listen to the stupid recording. See, they do dirty stuff like that. So that's why I just mute the desktop audio. Representative Ayanna Presley's chief of staff Sarah Grow said in a recent interview that panic buttons have been previously used in the congressman's office have been taken out before the violent riot at the U.S. Capitol last week. Grow revealed the information in a new interview with the Boston Globe published Wednesday, in which she recounted her experience the day of the riot. Grow said that she, Presley, and her husband, Conan Harris, had arrived at the Capitol early that day after the House Sergeant at Arms urged lawmakers to do so to avoid large crowds, as hundreds of the president's supporters had flocked to D.C. to oppose the November election results. I was deeply concerned. It felt like the heat was being turned up in the terms of the rhetoric and Trump's aims to incite violence, she told the Globe. It wasn't long after, however, that a pro-Trump mob took over the U.S. Capitol as Congress was gearing up to certify the votes by the Electoral College that affirmed his defeat in the presidential race. Around that time, Gross said she discovered the office's panic buttons had been removed while she and other staffers were working to secure the office's interests while using available furniture and water jugs. Every panic button in my office had been torn out, the whole unit, Gross said, despite noting she had previously used the buttons in that same office. Gross said in the interview that she did not know why the buttons had been removed. In a statement to The Hill later on Wednesday, a spokesperson for Presley said the matter has been raised with the relevant agencies and is currently under investigation. The representative said the duress buttons had previously been installed throughout the Congresswoman's office suite. Our staff has used these devices before, and they are regularly tested and maintained, they said. So, once again, if true, this would mean that panic buttons were removed from the office beforehand. Meaning no one could just press the panic button. This is from the Hill. This is not from some left-leaning source. This is from the Hill. You know? That is, open up 2 more articles from the Hill here. I think that's pretty interesting. Let's go back here. So, hotel cancels Holly fundraiser after deadly riot. We are horrified. It's by Tal Axelrod, published on the 16th, which is today. By the way, guys, happy belated New Year. Awesome. Thank you very much, Roomfoot. Number sent out. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Let's get out. Let's get to it. This is by the Hill. Hotel cancels Holly fundraiser after Capitol riot. We are horrified, by Tal Axelrod, published today, January 16th. Let's get down into it. Lowe's Hotels said Saturday that it is canceling a planned fundraiser for Senator Josh Hawley, Republican from Missouri, at one of his properties next month over his objections to the Electoral College results. The hospitality company in a statement suggested that it believes Hawley's objections in Congress to the election results based on unsupported allegations of widespread voter fraud contribute to last week's violent riots at the Capitol. We are horrified and opposed to the events at the Capitol and all who supported and incited the actions. In light of those events and for the safety of our guests and team members, we have informed the hosts of the February fundraiser that it will no longer be held at Lowe's Hotels, the company tweeted. And I don't blame them. Because again, this is the actual tweet here. But it's a private company. They are allowed to do it. I mean, unless of course people on the right, or maybe I shouldn't say that, the more pro-Trump crowd, unless they are telling this hotel company that they got to bake the gay wedding cake. I think that they are a private company, and they have every right to cancel fundraising events if they so choose. All right. Lowe's Hotels did not specifically name Hawley in his statement, but Fighting for Missouri PAC, a group affiliated with Hawley's re-election, had been set to host a fundraiser for the lawmaker from February 12th to 15th at the Lowe's Portofino Bay Hotel in Orlando. Please join Senator Josh Hawley, representative from Missouri, for a fun-filled, family-friendly Orlando weekend event. Read a flyer for the event. Hawley dismissed the hotel's statement comparing his objection to the riots. If these corporations don't want conservatives to speak, they should just be honest about it. But to equate leading a debate on the floor of the Senate with inciting violence is a lie, and it's dangerous. I will not be deterred from representing my constituents, and I will not bow to the left-wing corporate pressure, he said in a statement to The Hill. Are they even left-wing? Because they originally was going to host your fundraiser. They had no problem with it. But I'm going to see. Are they even left-wing? Let's find out. Who owns? Let's go ahead and find out. Because let's go ahead and fact-check Senator Hawley here. Because he called them a left-wing corporation. But is there any indication of that? I mean, it seems like they're all over the country. I don't think they're gonna just refuse. Oh no, and mind you, I've seen no evidence of them being a left-wing a left-wing company. Senator Josh Hawley, mind you, they are a company. They don't care about if you're left-wing or right-wing. They care about if your money is green. Let me go ahead and see. Look up his net worth. Go to Open Secrets. Summary. Yeah. Josh Hawley. You want me to believe that a man worth over $1 million, a hotel is going to refuse your money? They're going to refuse the whole fundraiser for a fundraiser for a millionaire. And the excuse is that they are a left-wing company. I've seen no evidence of them being a left-wing company. In fact, I'm gonna Google that because here's my question: if they are a left-wing company now that they've simply canceled a reservation for a fundraiser, then the question becomes: wouldn't that also mean that your campaign team ain't shit because they did business or were going to do business with a left-wing company that you didn't even previously research if what you're claiming is true? I'm just asking questions, right? I'm just asking questions out loud, right? Because you said they were left-leaning. I've seen no evidence of that. And quite frankly, if they operate in Florida, because originally your stupid little fundraiser was going to be held in Florida, if they're operating in Florida, are you trying to tell me that they're going to refuse every conservative, every right-leaning person, that everybody wearing a Trump hat, they just turn around? Huh? Do you in the audience believe that this company is left-wing, or that they just said we're making a business decision to not be associated with you? It's not that we have anything against you. It's just that being associated with you is bad for business. Which one do you think it is? Do you think that it is that this company doesn't want to make money from a politician's campaign, a politician who is worth more than $1 million, by the way? They're gonna do that, and they're gonna do that for the sake of being left wing and the events of January 6th, or maybe some of Josh Hawley's words had nothing to do with it. And now because they've rejected a fundraiser event, now they're left wing. Do you see how so many people end up being called leftist, communist, socialist when they're not even that, because they have one exception? How does refusing to do business after a major terrorist attack, which is most everybody in the country knows is hot right now? It's hot right now. If a business says, hey, I don't want to give any kind of donations, I don't want to host any campaign events, I don't want to host any political events, that's their business. Well, what if they were doing it for Democrats? That's their fucking business. Do they have to bake the gay wedding cake or not? Because the right spent so many years saying that person at the bakery who refused to bake the gay wedding cake, if they were actually right, it's a private business. It's a private business. Fine. I totally accept that. I'm totally fine with it. You're right. It's a private business. And this hotel, Josh Hawley, is a private fucking business. They're not left-wing or communist or socialist or whatever else because they refuse to do business with you. Even Walmart has fucking stopped contributions. You want to tell me that Walmart has a political position? Their only position is money. They don't care who's in office. They care about money. If they cared about solely who was in office, they wouldn't have as much money as they have now. But see, Walmart works with everybody, except for now, because they see that right now, whatever moves Walmart makes, it's the money moves that you should be making. If Walmart says, "Hey, you guys are too hot right now," obviously it's not about politics. It's about money. It's about money. You know? And that's the problem with people. People confuse politics with money. some people out there think that their politics is the reason why they get targeted. No, it comes down to money. Some people have this idea that politicians care about politics. No, it's always about money. You know. And by the way, Roomfoot, to let you know, none of these people were apparently brave enough because no one's called in, which tells me a lot. You know, it's very, very easy to go on the internet and just spam like N-bombs, but it's much, much more difficult to engage with an actual debate with me. So understand something, Roomfoot. What you're seeing is that these people talk a lot of smack on the internet. When it comes to actually debating me or actually encountering me, they won't do that. They won't do that because they realize you can't just dogpile somebody, or you can't just spam a bunch of N-words where somebody can actually control the flow of that bullshit. No, it's my show. I don't mind you talking, but you will back up your claims. And that's why these people don't want to call in. Because again, whatever it comes time for them to directly face a challenge, they won't do it. They're petrified. They're terrified. I said it. MAGA is terrified of debate. Debate that they can't manipulate so that you automatically lose no matter what the facts are. By swarming you. Mass downvotes. Downvote bots. That's how MAGA... that's how MAGA debates people. They think because you can get a bunch of racist subscribers, that means that you've won the argument. Or because more people can gaslight and say, "Oh, Candace Owens, she slayed. Candace Owens, she slayed. She." Shut the fuck up. That doesn't determine the winner or loser of an actual argument. When it comes down to points. And neither she or Brandon Tatum or Tim Pool or any bootlicking idiot out there who wants to make money off of other bootlicking idiots, they don't make points. They make crowds. They make mobs. Like you saw on January 6th. They don't make arguments or debates. That's why I stopped arguing with them and I stopped debating them. Now I just want to teach them. Because some of these people are like children, and children have to be taught. So I want to teach them. I don't want to debate them. I don't want to make amends with them. I want to teach them. That stupid doesn't have to be a constant mind state. You can escape stupid. It's possible. It's possible. Shut up, another video here.
Biden focuses on how to move his agenda forward in his first days of his presidency.
All right, this is Trump plans to leave the White House with military-like feel. What in the world? Wow. Just leave, bro. Like, you don't need to add anything military.
Presidential transition. President Trump planning a farewell event while President-elect Biden focuses on how to move his agenda forward in his first days of his presidency, as well as the Senate will be handling an impeachment trial. ABC's Rachel Scott is in Washington with this story. Good morning to you, Rachel.
Eva, good morning. And before President-elect Joe Biden even takes the oath of office, President Trump is planning on leaving Washington. Sources tell us this morning he is requesting a large send-off. With just 4 days left in office, President Trump is now planning a grand departure, refusing to attend Joe Biden's inauguration, something that hasn't happened in more than 150 years. Sources tell us before Biden is sworn in, the president wants his own farewell. A red carpet and military van waiting as he boards Air Force One for the final time headed to Mar-a-Lago. Inside the White House, aides are packing up their desks.
moving trucks spotted outside as the president refuses to concede an election he lost.
What you get is what it is.
The president did meet with MyPillow CEO Mike Lindell in the Oval Office on Friday. The Washington Post capturing this image of his notes, appearing to detail drastic actions like martial law and an insurrection act. Lindell confirming the meeting, saying he presented President Trump with an entire packet containing repeatedly discredited theories regarding election hacking. White House sources tell ABC News nothing Lindell presented would be taken seriously or acted on by officials. Meanwhile, the nation, still reeling from a deadly riot on the U.S. Capitol, is now preparing for an inauguration and an impeachment trial.
That president was impeached in a bipartisan way by the House of Representatives. So urgent was the matter. They're now taking this to trial.
That trial in the Senate could be playing out during Biden's first 100 days in office.
We have to multitask, which means, as with anyone, we have a lot of priorities and we need to see them through.
One of those priorities, getting Congress to pass a nearly $2 trillion COVID relief package, which includes $1,400 in direct payments to most Americans. So this morning, the timing of an impeachment trial is still up in the air, but it could start on the same day of the inauguration. In the House, 10 Republicans voted to impeach President Trump, but in the Senate, at least 17 would be needed to convict Trump. And so far, we have not heard from a single Senate Republican who says they plan to do just that. Dan?
Could be a long shot. Rachel, thank you very much.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click.
No, I don't want to click on your YouTube channel. I want to move on. In his community. So Roomfoot asked a question on YouTube. What do I think of Kraut in his community? I like Kraut. Kraut is a good friend of mine. The community itself, I don't know. What do you mean by the community? Because, you know, a community is different than a political movement. A political movement, you know, when you think community, right? You think of you can that could be applied to a violent community. That could be applied to a toxic community, or that could apply to like a community of like gamers. So it would totally depend on what side of Kraut's audience you are referring to, because Kraut's audience is very, very diverse now. Now you have some on the right, because Kraut has some positions that are a little bit more right-leaning in terms of like gun control. Like he doesn't really believe that gun control will really work in the U.S., which is a little bit of a deviation from what you would find from a lot of European leftist or leftist-ish types of people. You wouldn't usually find that, but Kraut is a more reasonable person in that he tends to he gets angry just like me, but that he tends to take a very, very comical approach to it, but also he tends to look very, very deep into things, and you know, and so I think that's why me and Kraut get you know, basically we became friends because we are very, very similar. We are very, very similar. I'm more right-leaning and Kraut is more left-leaning, but we are both sensible in that we will listen to the other side if you make a good point. You can't just say, well, this point is good because someone on the internet told me so. No. So there are definitely parts of Kraut's audience that is toxic. No question about it. No question about it. And I don't even think Kraut would deny that part of it. But in terms of how I feel about Kraut himself, I like him. Yeah, I would love an invite. I like Kraut. We used to ride together during the Edgy Spinks saga. I was actually in that server, like the server where they accused us of doxing people and all that nonsense. Yeah, I got dragged into that. As a matter of fact, I was one of the main people. Aiden Pound said that I had doxed her, and I got I got everything. They went after my freaking ex-wife. They went after my kid. They went after everything. And people lied and people backed them up. People went on live streams. That's how internet blood sports got really, really popular. People lied and went on live streams and made all these fabrications, and so that's what happened to us. So that's why I'm so bitter towards the right, because it's like, you know, that was some nonsense, man. That was That was so unfair that Kraut got destroyed like that, because the man did nothing wrong, and I still maintain that now. And I think that many parts of the anti-SJW community and many parts of the right owes that man and myself and several others an apology. I mean, you caused us like subscriber growth. You made us hemorrhage like a lot of our subs. You made us do a lot of stuff, and honestly, that's why a lot of us are like this unforgiving. That's why a lot of us just talk a lot of shit now. It's just like, because we played by the rules. We played by the fucking rules, and you saw what happened to us. So it's like, if you're not gonna play fair, then we're not gonna play fair, and that's how that goes. But I see that I'm replacing my audience with more sensible people. I've noticed that, and I'm very, very appreciative of people like you and DM Cosmic and several others, man. Like a lot of people who are replacing the more toxic elements of my audience, because the people who are watching my content, they were super duper hard right, and they would share it only with super duper hard right people. Well, now I'm getting people who are sharing it with everybody, so that my audience can diversify. It was a long time in which I couldn't even recognize who my audience was. And it got to the point where I was really, really just upset at myself for not discovering who my audience was. But then over time, I started realizing my audience was literally everyone. That was the one secret that I hadn't figured out, that I can appeal to everyone. And I think a lot of the people who saw my channel, they knew that, and that's why they wanted to just cut me off as fast as possible. Because they know I can do gaming content. They know that I can do long form content. I can do quick content. I can do live streaming. I don't need a script. This whole live stream, I didn't have no goddamn script. How many people could do what I'm doing right now in this goddamn live stream? How many? Not many. So, and I think that many people within the anti-SJW community, especially the more racist crowd, they looked at people like me. I wasn't like the only one. I'm not like special. I'm not like saying like the reason why I don't have like 100,000 subscribers because of them. I mean, I made my own personal mistakes, but they definitely contributed to that. Especially a lot of the bigger YouTubers. They didn't want people like me coming and replacing them. I mean, you look at a lot of the channels, like you look at like Undoom, right? Like that was one of the guys that I emulated. I have my own style now, but that's one of the guys that I pretty much copied. But you look at his content and look at my content, I'm way better. I'm sorry, like he's better at like visuals, but that's where it ends. That's where it ends. You might get a video from him once every few months or so, if that. Whereas me, you're getting daily content. And about relevant shit. Like I'm not just telling you that feminism is doo-doo. You already know it's fucking doo-doo. And I don't have to keep telling you that. But it's other and more important shit to talk about. And not just that feminism is doo-doo, or that the Black Lives Matters, they're freaking evil. Okay? Those people ran that kind of content for years and years and years, and whenever I decided to get into other content, that's when they start crafting lies and attacking people and stuff, because they want you to be pigeonholed into this one arena where they dominate. Whereas you notice that when I branch out, I make better content. I make content about things that they can't make content about. They can't make content about the freaking police in like long detailed form. They can't even make a content about pit bulls. They can't make content about politics. They can't make content about social issues, not in a long form way that people are gonna actually watch and like interpret. All they can do is tell you that feminism is doo-doo. Feminism is bad for you, and that's why you should donate to their Patreon, so that they can help you fight feminism. That's why these people sit there day in, day out, and they lie to subscribers. They lie to you for money, and that's why I encourage people to donate on Patreon. But you don't have to, because I don't have a single patron, right? But yet I still give you this content every day. I do it every day. And you want to know why? Because money never moved me. And the reason why money never moved me, because I realized that when you start adding in a bunch of money, that's when things start getting corrupt. That's when you start doing things strictly for the money. You know, that's when things become strictly for the money. And I agree with you, Roomfoot. I think I'll be a great addition to the community as well. Roomfoot on YouTube, he's invited me to a server that is for Kraut. And it'd be nice to be able to talk to Kraut on a regular, because that's my boy, man. Like, I love him. I actually chat with him on Twitter a lot. I didn't really hit him up on Discord because I've had some bad experiences with Discord, as you might have learned from the past. I mean, unless I can like directly moderate, directly moderate it. A lot of times I don't join like Discord servers, but this one I will definitely join because Kraut is there, and that's my boy, man. That's my boy. If you mention Devil's Advocate, man, that's my boy, man. I love Kraut, man. I love his video, love his content. The main thing that I like about Kraut's content is how in depth he goes, because I think me and him are one of the few YouTubers that goes into the kind of depth that we go into. You look at a lot of videos from the anti-SJW community. It's about singular issues or about other YouTubers. It's not about shit that's gonna actually directly affect you. Whereas with Kraut or with me, I'm talking about shit that's gonna like affect you every day. Like if you live in one of the cities where I've done my episode of Bad Cop No Donut on, or the Corrupted Files, or you see actual injustice, I talk about that kind of stuff. Whereas somebody like the Quartering, all he talks about is fucking Twitter drama. Right? I'm not saying that the Quartering is necessarily a bad person, but I've been in Discord chats with this guy. I've talked to this guy before. I've literally talked to this guy before. Let me want to tell you, he's the biggest pussy, And I just said I don't have anything against him, but I don't have to have I don't have to have anything against you to be honest about you. He's a pussy. All he does is muckrake and try to start drama for views. Go to his channel, right? Go to his channel. If you see his videos, that's all he makes. That's all this man makes. It's the most annoying stuff I've ever seen in my entire life, and it is not just seriously. DM me on Discord. I'm on top user list. My name is green color. On Discord. Let's see. I'm looking for you on Discord. I'm on Discord right now. I'm looking for you, buddy. I don't see you on Discord. Let's see, hold on. Go to my chat real quick. I'm in the Inferno. Okay. Let's see. Did you join my Discord? If not, I will give you a link here so that you can join it, and then you send me an invite there, and I'll join up definitely. Here, let me go ahead and. People's Boxing Network. Thank you very much, People's Boxing Network over on YouTube. Just found your page. I like your content. Salute, brother. Salute to you too, man. I learned a lot about South America from crop content. Seriously. Okay, so yeah, I sent you. That is a link to my Discord in the chat. Basically, I'm not in the Discord very often, but I am in there whenever I'm gaming or whenever I'm doing the show. So I also make gaming content as well. So I give you the Pitchfork Podcast starting at 1 p.m. Pacific or 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Once a week, I do a deep dive with either Bad Cop, No Donut, or I give you a video from the Corrupted Files. And by the way, I have some new animations that I'm going to be using in my videos, so I hope you guys like it. Also, I do daily gaming content. I also have news and views in under a minute, whereas I take a news article and I give you the exact same news article in under a minute. So that way, if you're like on the go and you don't have time to go read a news article, just listen to one of my videos. I will fill you in. Basically, I'm just repeating what's in the freaking news article, but I also give you my perspective. If you also just want your news very, very quickly at a breakneck pace, but also to give somewhat of my 2 cents with it, you can get that in under a minute. So the reason why I do that is that a lot of my content, it is very, very long, and I realize that. So I wanted to make some content for people so that it can be shorter and people can actually enjoy it without having to sacrifice a lot of their day. So therefore, maybe you are a busy person and you only got 5 minutes during like a lunch break. I got something for you. You know, so hopefully you guys like that, and I really want to focus on making more content for you guys. So later on today, I'm doing Magic the Gathering, and later on that night, I'm going to be doing World War Z Zombies. I'm going to be doing a lot more gaming content because I game a lot. I game all day, every day. I spend probably 3/4 of my day gaming, to be honest with you. So I don't just make this particular content. I don't just do political and social stuff. The way that I wind down from arguing with people over the phone or making content or arguing or putting up a lot of stuff is that I try to make the channel itself friendly towards you, so that if you want certain types of content, you can get that. If you want to see somebody, just read you off the news on screen, I do this show just for that. If we just want to hear somebody rant and just say what you probably want to say, but you might get fired from your job, well, let me do it. Or if you just want to have a show where you can call in and just rant and just kind of just vent, if you call in and say, hey man, I just want to get something off my chest, and even if it's about me, if you say it like that, I will mute myself and just let you speak. I'll just let you speak, because I want to make the content itself and the show itself and the channel itself, the actual appeal. People try to give you content that is curated. Like, for example, if you know that your audience is like right-leaning, they will make content for a right-leaning audience. Whereas me, if there's a right-leaning member of my audience, that's great. I'm gonna make content that they're gonna like, but I'm also gonna make content that a left-leaning person in my audience is gonna like. I have anti-BLM stuff and I have pro-BLM stuff. I have anti-Antifa stuff and I've defended Antifa. I've got pro-Trump stuff and I've criticized Trump. So you get the best of all worlds here. You don't get bullshit, because if this were about money, I would stick to a niche, right? Because basically when you start making content, you want to stick to like a particular niche. Like, for example, if you are a beauty and beauty type of YouTuber, you make that type of content. If you're a gamer, you're a freaking game streamer, you make that kind of content. If you are a donut operator, you make content where you suck off cops and you defend cops no matter how many times they murder people. If you're Brandon Tatum, you make content for a older right-wing audience or a younger right-wing audience that's going to become left-leaning, but they think that they're on the right because it's the edgy thing to do. If you are like, for example, an amazing atheist, you just don't want to start making videos where you're praising Christians, because you are called the amazing atheist. So that's your niche. You want to stick to that particular niche. Whereas me, I've never stuck to a niche. I got content about my freaking dogs. I've got content with me going to the range. I've got content where I criticize cops. I criticize politicians. I criticize judges. I criticize lawyers. I criticize, people of interest. I make live streams. I make gaming content. I don't have a niche, and that's my magic. That's where a lot of the top YouTubers were trying to make lies against me and cut me off beforehand, because that's my magic. I'm devil's advocate, aka no gimmick required, because I can do it all. That's what they hate about me. I can go to any content, any freaking arena, and make content, and that's what they hate about me the most. Notice that how many content creators could actually go into a long form style like this and keep talking without a fucking script and maintain this? I've went through how many news articles, how many videos, and how long has this rant go on? How many times could a content creator do this day in, day out? I do it every fucking day. This show runs every day. You get the same energy every day. Every day. So if I was actually given a fair shake and not lied upon and not sworn with bullshit, where would I be? And now you see why people had to freaking cut me off now. You see why. You see why people had to basically kneecap me before I even got started. Because they know they can't compete with me. You can't compete with someone like me who has this kind of energy, who can make content every fucking day. You can't do that. You know, and Roomfoot on YouTube even said it. He said that, you know, I can't do that, and that's why he quit YouTube. Making content every day is hard. It's damn near impossible. I took a whole year hiatus because, listen, that is taxing on you. All right, I won't be taking any more hiatuses. Guys, I've been averaging right now, I put out so much content, I'm averaging 3 videos a day now. 2 to 3 videos a day. Who do you know on YouTube is doing that? How many people on YouTube is doing it? Ain't that many. And you notice the people who are doing that, they're not doing it for as long as I am. Like, for example, if you look at Sticks Hexhammer, right? His long form videos are actually decent. They're good. But they're about anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes, sometimes 15, sometimes 20 minutes, right? Whereas I've had this podcast going on for how long? Since 1 o'clock? We're an hour and 44 minutes in, almost 2 hours in. I do this every day. Every day. And gaming content. And news and views in under a minute. And once a week I give you a freaking deep dive. You know? So that's why a lot of that drama happened on with me and Kraut. It's because they want to cut off Kraut because most content creators on the right and most of them in the anti-SJW community can't compete with Kraut. They can't compete with him. He makes too good of damn videos. And that's why they want to cut me off as soon as possible, because they can't compete with me. So they go around spreading narratives. And that's what's hurt my growth. But however, that has not stopped me from making content. And I will never stop making content. You wonder why? Because it's not about views for me. It's not about money. My grandma, you know, I mentioned my grandmother in several videos, but a week before she passed away, she had multiple sclerosis and dementia, and she was very close to me, man. I hold my grandmother in the highest regard. She's the best person I've ever met, and by far the smartest person I've ever met. And when she died, I don't think I've cried harder. But a week before she passed away, she had multiple sclerosis and dementia, so she didn't know my name. She would call me sir. She said, "Hey sir, come here." So I come over to her freaking bed and start talking to her. I said, "Hey grandma." She said, "Now I want you to promise me that you will always let the truth prevail." And I said, "I'll do that." And I was just joining. Not just joining, but I was just getting ready to deploy. It was a year before I was going to be sent to Afghanistan, and so I had to go down and do some training with my unit. And that was the last thing that my grandma ever said to me, was making me promise that I would always let the truth prevail. So, you know, I'm not going to sit and tell and pretend like I've never told a lie. Of course I have. But I always try to make amends, and I always try to hold people accountable for not being truthful. And my grandma made me promise her that, and that's why I'm going to always let the truth prevail. Even if someone swarms me with mass downvotes, even if someone accuses me of doxing even though I didn't do it, even if someone accuses me of all kind of horrible shit that I've never done, or even if someone lies on me, even if someone misrepresents a position that I have, or try to criticize me because I'm a pagan, or try to criticize me because I'm black, or criticize me because of an opinion, you don't ever supposed to give up, stop, or quit. And that's one of the things I respect the most about Kraut, is that he never quit. I saw what happened to him. You know, Roomfoot and and others. I don't know if you were in those chats with like freaking Enos and others. There's a guy named Enos who's doing a lot of other stuff. Yeah, Dir server. Yeah, I know what Dir server is. I remember Dir server. Dir server is the shit, man. Oh God, is the Gulag still on there? I'm gonna join Dir server, absolutely. And I'd let you know I joined on Discord. I'm Devil's Advocate on there. I'm the guy with the Starstream thing. I'm the guy with the Starstream picture. Someone called in, 212 called in. So let me go ahead and see if I answer this call real quick. I'm going to call you back, 212. All right. All right, 212. I've noticed that you called into the Pitchfork Podcast. How you doing?
Hey, what's up, man? I was watching your stream, bro, and just wanted to say that that the shorter video thing was a great idea. But you have great material. I watched a lot of your videos on police accountability, and I really enjoy your channel. I share it on my Facebook and I tweet them out.
Right. So what do you think? All right. So what do you think about the overall thing that's happening in the Capitol? I want to know what you think.
Oh, with the domestic homegrown terrorists?
Yeah.
Yeah. They were totally wrong. They were bamboozled by their own president and the media, saying that the election was stolen. Now you don't hear anymore from any right-leaning media that the election was stolen anymore. You don't hear it after what happened. You don't hear it at all. I guess they don't want to be implicated in, being part of, setting all that up and lying to the people and getting them all riled up,
Yeah, well, the other question that I want to ask you is, what do you think is happening with the country? Do you think that the Republican Party is going to actually survive this?
Yeah, they'll survive it.
I mean, like, what do you think it's going to look like? I mean, because I definitely don't see the MAGA thing surviving.
Well, I'll give you my analysis on the situation.
All right.
Okay?
Okay.
If the Republican Party goes forward with impeachment and do what they got to do with Trump, they save their party. Okay? But if they don't do what they got to do, that's going to be real hard for them to save that party, But with the way media is and how they have their own, section of media like Fox and things of that nature, it'll be real hard to actually, bring for, that Republican Party to, go down. If they go down, they will rise from the ashes thanks to, media and things like that. And the way media is used to manipulate people.
Well, do you think that the Republican Party is going to become more or less like Trump, or is it going to become more and more like it used to be, or is it going to become something completely different?
Well, to tell you the truth, now that it's being exposed and by other white people, because people of color have always known that white supremacists, gather in that party, and that party still exists to this day. It's all because white people don't believe white supremacists are in that party, and a good majority are. Like, when they take a photo of their caucus and all of them standing, all you see is white faces. But when they take a photo of the Democratic Party and stuff, you see all kinds of faces standing around. So that's kind of the white party looking out for white people. And that's the way they do. They always go on code, and they're always going to look out for each other.
Right. So you think that it's not so much a cultural shift, but you think that that maybe Karen America or Joe and Blow America or the common average white person is starting to kind of shift their opinion of the current Republican Party.
Oh yeah, definitely. Now with all this going on and all these white supremacists being exposed, being part of the party, stuff like that.
So what are you hearing? So the question that I want to ask you is, where you're at, what sorts of things are you hearing?
Well, where I'm at is people I know aren't really politically active because I grew up in the hood.
Right.
So not too many people are in the hood are politically active, stuff
right.
like that. And this, but from what I've been hearing, people who are is that this was an atrocity. Like, everybody knew this was coming. They were warning about it for weeks. They were posting it on social media and all that. And they're starting to doubt the government and being like, the government isn't what it's saying it is.
Right. So
I
want you to repeat something because I want someone else to say it because I've been saying it for like a long time. You're saying that you had seen posts on social media about this for weeks.
Yeah. I've been seeing posts on it for weeks.
Because I want you to know that when I said it, right, people say, "Oh, you're just grifting. You're making this up. You're full of shit." And I'm like, guys, I'm literally on Facebook. They're literally been posting this. I'm actually on the right. I can tell you, I'm part of a lot of the freaking Stop the Steal goddamn groups and stuff, and they were literally saying this.
Yeah, you don't even have to be part of the right. I used to be on the right, but then as I saw what was going on and how racist they were and things of that nature, I got out of there. And they do have, I'm conservative. I am. I believe in small government. I believe, government shouldn't be telling people what to do and things of that nature. And I still believe in things of that, but I can't be part of that party anymore. It's too racist.
Yeah,
it is. And they make racist policies.
Well, I remember when I had a caller. I used to have a longtime fan named Slappy Get Right. So he had a friend of his call in from Texas, and so I asked this man. I said, "I'm not saying that the Republican Party is racist, but could you understand why some black people in the South specifically, all right, thinks that they're racist?" And he said, "I have no idea why they think that." I said, "Are you sure you have no idea throughout your entire life?" I said, "Sir, you are over the age of 30. And you're saying that you've never heard a black person even once articulate the reason why they think that the Republicans are racist. You've never seen a freaking Chappelle Show skit. You've never watched Comedy Central. You never watched movies. Never been on the internet.
Yeah,
pretty much at all. He plays stupid the entire time. He plays stupid the fucking entire time.
Yeah, that's what they do. But some of them don't see it because they were raised from a very young age with that conservative mindset, And let me give you an analogy. It's like two fish that are in water, okay? And one fish tells another fish, the water is warm today. And the fish goes, "What's water?" Because the fish lived in water its whole life. Doesn't know what water is. But the one that's more educated and has more knowledge knows what's around it.
Right.
The fish who's lived in this water most of its life and hasn't really done much of anything but the same thing all the time, when you ask them a question like, "Don't you think the Republican Party is racist?" They'd be like, what racist? Like, what's water? So they're used to that. That's in their mind frame.
Right.
So you would have to really give them some extreme examples of racism for them to actually see it.
Right. Like I remember.
To tell you the truth.
Go ahead.
I used to be a fan of Alex Jones.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
I used to listen to his conspiracy theories. He did have factual conspiracy theories, the Gulf of Tonkin, and a couple other ones.
Bohemian Grove.
That were factual. But he also had other conspiracies, like the Obama deception.
Right.
That was racist as fuck. I watched that thing. I said, "This is racist as fuck." You know, that's what turned me around, and that exposed me to the racism inside the party because I thought, because you know, I'm Native American.
Right.
You know, Taino, and I grew up around Hispanics, blacks, and all that. You know, so I know when somebody's being racist towards another individual, and that film was 100% racist. You know, and that's when I started questioning, you know, the conservative platform, and then I started finding little things here and there, like, wait a minute.
Yeah, the first time that I started questioning things, I ran into a guy named Naked Ape. He's a YouTuber, and Naked Ape.
I know him. I know him.
Yeah,
I got my own YouTube channel. We're sub to each other. I also do police accountability.
Yeah, I used to watch him. It used to be very, very good friends. Naked Ape got me in contact with a guy from Breitbart. He wanted me to write for Breitbart as a journalist, as a black conservative. And when I tell you that was the first time that I realized that pretty much what ABL is, where Brandon goddamn Tatum is, what Candace Owens is, they're all getting paid to say the crazy shit that they're saying. ABL, fucking Anthony Brian Logan, I know for a fact he's getting paid for to say the crazy shit that he's saying. This man claimed that when he was a child, the Klan would bring his family gifts. That not all members of the Klan are evil because they used to bring his family gifts. You are not just black, you're jet black. And you're claiming that the Ku Klux Klan is not that bad.
I heard of this phenomenon that your friend is talking about.
Yeah.
That the Ku Klux Klan at one point were trying to revamp their image. And they were in fact going out and trying to connect with have other individuals get involved in that party, into that the Ku Klux Klan, but it didn't work out in the long run because it's it's got its claws deep into racism, and I no matter how much you do out of that KKK and try to revamp it, it's always going to be that history of racism, and racist people are going to be drawn to that.
Right.
So there's going to be no way to reform the KKK.
Well, I think
are drawn to the KKK.
Well, he was saying it more from the standpoint of people were criticizing the KKK and talking about racism, and he brings that up as if it's some kind of like you know like a freaking counterpoint. Well, the counterpoint the counterpoint that I made was, well, even El Chapo would actually give out gifts. That doesn't make him a good guy.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
Bill Cosby has donated a lot to charity. Okay. Cosby has donated a lot to goddamn charity. So has R. Kelly. So has Jeffrey Epstein. So has Bill Clinton. And I don't know, man.
O.J. Simpson.
I mean, it just, again, when people bring up those kind of side points to try to negate a point that someone else is making, it kind of shows where they're coming from. And when I look at many people who are on the right who will just excuse behavior, it's not so much done from the standpoint of political ideology or even just plain stupidity. It's done from the standpoint of making money. If you can tell people what they want to hear, they're gonna keep coming to you. They're gonna super chat you. They're gonna subscribe. They're gonna do all that stuff because again, people love to have their ego stroked. People love that.
Yeah.
And I hate stroking egos. And do you want to know why?
Because no benefit to you or the other person at all.
No.
It's a whole lot.
I feel that it is a form of abuse. I feel that you are preventing this person from becoming becoming better because you're lying to them. Like for example, if I'll give you a perfect analogy of that. If someone doesn't have the ability to feel and they're on fire, and they don't know that they are on fire, and you don't tell them, is that not a degree of cruelty?
Yeah, it is.
Right.
That's a perfect example. That's like the race car drivers when they crash. The gas they have in their cars, when it burns, you don't see the fire.
Right.
But other people that are away from you see your clothes burning. And,
right.
You know, they would have to put you out and tell you you're on fire. That's a perfect analogy.
Right. I just want to. I don't want to harm someone's personal growth or harm progress by lying to people, because again, there's no motivation for money, you know, as far as I see it, because if I was motivated by money, I would run things completely different. But I don't.
Yeah.
So, but again, I think
you could run an awesome grift. There's a lot of people.
Yeah.
That, I mean, conservatives will pick up any minority that's going with their grain and shower them with money so they can have somebody to point at and say, see, look, he's a minority and he agrees with me.
Yeah, and that's just the thing. Like pretty much, you know, I don't want somebody to pay me for my fucking opinions. I'm not gonna name the content creator, but I remember Kraut telling me a story. Kraut told me this crazy story. Kraut told me this story about this other content creator who he was supposed to be a member of the alt-right. No. The alt-right had somebody donating money to him. It was like $15, right? And so he told Kraut, I would love to help you with your campaign against the alt-right, but one of my subscribers told me to stop talking about the alt-right. And so Kraut asked him, said, well, why are you doing this? I said, well, because this guy's paying me, you know, and I got bills. And so Kraut says, how much is this guy paying you? $15. So I said, so Kraut was like, you would sell out black people for $15. You know that they're talking about a fucking white ethno state, kicking blacks out of the goddamn country. And you would sell away a fucking entire race for $15. And that shows you a lot.
About the long game.
Yeah.
Like Candace. Candace started very low. Now she's making good money. You know, she's one of those house Negroes. That's the easiest way to put it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the best part about Candace is that she's not even on the right. She's just faking it. Okay? Because Candace growing up for more than 20 years was actually on the left. And she realized that people
she sued the school.
Right. Well, she realized that people on the left don't pay as well as people on the goddamn right, because people on the right love big banks. So those people are bankrolled. They have money. So Candace Owens suddenly changed her whole tune. People say, "Oh well, you have no way of proving that." Excuse me. This chick went from couldn't even be able to afford her damn rent to now she's buying mansions. So yeah, the grift is real. You are absolutely right. The grift is real, man. But anyways, man, I gotta run. I want to thank you for calling in, and I want to thank you for joining the show. Hey man, you are awesome. I actually like you as a freaking guest. Will you call in again?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Last time I got on the show late and I didn't get a chance to call in.
Well, that's fine, man. That's fine. I'm actually gonna be running the show like every day.
More than happy to call.
Yeah, I'm gonna run this show like every day, and to be honest with you, I do change show topics, but sometimes if you just want to call in to say how your day is going, I'm fine with that. You know, because again, one of the reasons why I started this freaking podcast, because I noticed that there was like a rising mental health thing, whereas a lot of people are like trapped in their houses and they have no kind of like actual actual way to like get their news or just basically just have some kind of way to vent their anger. So I said I'm gonna make a news show where I give you the doggone news quickly, and it's not gonna be like a freaking marathon show, maybe 2 to 3 hours. To give you the top headlines quickly, while at the same time allowing you to call in and participate in the show if you so choose. So with that being said, man, thank you for calling in, and I'm gonna make you a favorite. Huh?
You can call me Pocholo.
Cholo.
That's my name, and that's
Pocholo.
Yeah, Pocholo. Pocholo.
Pocholo.
Same name I got on my police accountability channel.
Awesome. Hey, actually, post a link to that channel. I want to share it out.
Yeah, sure.
Post it in the chat, because the one thing that I love, in case you haven't noticed, I do promote a lot of content creators, man. I love to actually do that. So if you post in the chat, I will actually take the link and I'll post it. I'll actually make a post in the community tab. And that's how I'll promote you. I post it in the live chat in the stream, and I also do it on the community tab. Because if we make very, very similar content, then our audiences are going to overlap anyways, right? So go ahead and post that in the chat. I'll be waiting on you. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and run. Thank you for.
I'll post on my videos because I'm on my phone and I can't get the link to my channel.
Okay,
so I'll
hey,
just post one of my
that's
popular
fine.
videos.
That's fine, man. Anyways, man, I gotta run, okay?
All right, cool. Good talking to you, man. I look forward to talking to you too again. And I'm versed on many topics, so I'll be happy to call.
Absolutely. Hey, like I said, call in, or honestly, I'm looking for like a freaking co-host at some point. Honestly, at some point. So I gotta start finding. I gotta start going out there and finding one. And you sound like a very, very good particular fit. But anyways, man, let me go ahead and run. We're gonna get up on YouTube. I'll send you an email too if you got some content. Do you have a way of contacting you on like YouTube?
I'll share my link, and then you can just contact me through there.
Okay, got you.
All right, here we go.
All right, Digital Liberation Front. I'm gonna go ahead and give you a link also to another YouTube channel, the Digital Liberation Front. So these people are a collaboration of YouTube content creators, and these people, what they do, and I want you to understand, what they do is they take different political views and they kind of like curate them so that you can all have different types of content. If you want a more right-leaning person who's not super duper left-leaning, who's gonna be honest about BLM and Antifa, while at the same time holding the right accountable, you got someone that's like me. If you want if you want far left material like burn it all down type, well, you got Rome for that. If you want something that's more like a chat about the freaking news where there's very, very little cursing by a nice sweet lady who you love by the name of Carrie, you can go over to DLF Live. That's another amazing channel, and pretty much honesty and integrity. These people are not getting paid for what they're doing. They're just doing it.
Yeah, you're cool.
So
I don't care about profanity. I believe in freedom of speech. So the more you curse, the more I'm for it. You know?
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck.
Awesome. So just shoot that link in the chat, and I will get up with you, man. But
yeah,
anyways,
I just posted it right here, and you posted right under me. My name's right there, Pocholo, and I got the link right there.
Okay, got you. Okay, let me see. Let me go check the chat real quick. I posted. Where is Pocholo? I'm looking for you.
It should be the fourth. No. Is this comment up?
Yeah, did you post it? You posted? I didn't see it. I'm looking for it.
Did it delete it?
No.
It might have deleted it because of a link.
I'm not sure.
I'll post it again.
I'm going to.
All right, I just posted right now, 6:12.
Okay. All right, let me go check it. I do not see. Let me just see if I can search you out on YouTube. Pocholo.
Yeah, Pocholo. And then you put channel.
Okay. Pocholo on YouTube. Let's try and see you. I think I found you. Let's see if this is you. So I want to make sure I get you there. Because again, I try to promote as many people out there. Okay, so are you you have 5.93 subs? Is that you or?
I know I have about maybe close to 2,000 subs.
Okay. I'm just gonna see if I can try to find you, man. Cause make sure I think.
All right, I'll give you the name of the video.
I think I got you. I think I found you. I found you. There we go. Oh yeah, you do make some good content. Yeah, I remember. I actually watch you. I watch you a lot, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is you. Wow. Okay. Yeah. I actually when I look up like the NYPD, like you're one of the first channels that I actually go to. Yeah. So this is actually this is from Pocholo. You should subscribe and follow. I'm gonna go ahead and post that real quick. I'm gonna also make a community tab post.
I've been subscribed to your channel, but I got the little bell, so that's how I knew you were live streaming.
There you go. It's from Pocholo, man. That's a pretty cool. I actually because I actually one of the reasons why I was considering doing the NYPD is because of your freaking channel. Because like you kind of go in on the NYPD, man.
Oh yeah, sure.
Jesus.
You know, I show respect when given respect, but you're gonna disrespect me, I'm gonna go in.
Yeah, I feel you. Subscribe to Pocholo. Cholo. Okay, there we go. I posted a link in the community tab as well. That way, you know, you can go ahead and someone can sub to you if they so choose. But honestly, you should sub to this man because he makes some pretty good content about the NYPD, man. I don't think there's anybody on YouTube who goes in on as hard on the NYPD like you do. Jesus, like you hate these people or something?
My favorite video is a re-up I did of First Amendment audit where I said, fuck you pig, and cops tried to intimidate me. I say it right to his face. But let me give you the whole content of that video. What was going on? The cops had stopped two young black girls that were on the bus stop heading to school.
Right.
And they told them, oh, we're taking you in for truancy. But the girls had told them, look, we're going to school. And they intimidated one girl to go into the van. That's when you see the van closing, and I say, fuck you, pig. Because the cop cursed at me, called me an asshole first. So that's why I told him, fuck you, pig. And then he got in my face, and I told him right to his face.
So again, the one thing I will caution, man, just be safe doing that, man, because cops out here just shooting people for no reason.
Well, I've been falsely arrested plenty times, and what the NYPD will try to do is falsely arrest you and hope you get killed in the system. Because last time I was in there, some big buff dude tried to play me like I was a punk. I wasn't having that. You know, I do mixed martial arts, so I don't care how big you are, how small you are, I will choke you out.
Jiu-jitsu is very, very useful.
I do a little bit of jiu-jitsu, but my most of what I do is Wing Chun and shoulder khan.
Ah, okay. All right, man. Anyways, man, I gotta run, man. I gotta run. Thank you very, very much, and you've been awesome. And I'll catch you on next time. Also, after the podcast, I'm gonna actually email you. Okay.
All right. Cool.
All right, man. Peace.
All right. Peace.
That was a great call, man. I actually enjoyed that. I actually really enjoyed that. He's a pretty good guy. I'm gonna add him to the favorites, man. I enjoyed talking to him. Anyways, guys, that's gonna be it for the podcast today. We had a pretty good show. Got some live calls in when we went over the news. My show is about engagement. You know, this show isn't about the live viewers or about the news. It's about engagement. I want you to be able to get the news, but also engage with the news. That's why I gave you the phone number. and also the Discord link so that you can chat with me if you want to. Also, if you're in the Discord, never put anyone in the gulag ring. Yeah, someone send me a link on Discord, and also chat me on Discord. But also, guys, that's gonna be it for the podcast today. Thank you for watching. Hit the like button, hit the share button. Let people know that I run this podcast. I run it every day at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard time. And I also I put out a most times daily news and views in under a minute. I'm gonna put one out today. I'm gonna go ahead and film it when this show ends. I'm gonna have it out. I'm also gonna do a Magic the Gathering stream where I'm gonna be playing my favorite mono green deck. I play Magic the Gathering for fun, so if you guys are interested in that kind of content, I also play NBA 2K, I play Doom, I play zombie games, pretty much any kind of zombie game. I play survival horror games. I'm on stream, I'm on Twitch, I'm pretty much on everywhere. So with that being said, guys, that's gonna be it for the Pitchfork Podcast. Remember to always be the devil in the details. Don't believe bullshit just because someone says it. Always fact check, research the internet. It's the library of Alexander the Great times infinity. So use that times infinity. Horns up, peace out, be safe. Wear a mask, don't get COVID, and don't storm the Capitol. For Christ's sakes, don't storm the Capitol. Love you all. Be safe.